Something shocking just happened in Congress. A Democratic lawmaker cornered Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem with one simple question about a deadly shooting, and she refused to answer it. Not once, not twice. The room went silent as he called out what he believes is a cover-up happening inside DHS.
Gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Noem, last month, your Immigration and Customs Enforcement Director, Todd Lyons, confirmed that the Department of Homeland Security is conducting an investigation into the brutal, cruel, and senseless killings of Renee Good and Alex Pretti. Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension Superintendent Drew Evans loudly and publicly complained when, in the minutes and hours after your agents shot Alex Pretti to death in broad daylight, your DHS agents excluded BCA and Minneapolis police from accessing the crime scene. Your agents continued to physically block state and local law enforcement access to the crime scene even after they were presented with a search warrant issued by a judge that authorized their appearance at that location, the crime scene. And so with you having excluded them, that left your department's agents uniquely positioned to clandestinely seize and control all of the physical evidence from the crime scene, including body camera footage, phones, firearms, ballistic evidence, and other physical evidence. Your attempts to hide the evidence from state and local law enforcement forced Minnesota officials to go into federal court to obtain a temporary restraining order, preventing you from destroying or altering the evidence and ordering you to preserve the evidence. Madam Secretary, who was it that ordered you to deny state and local law enforcement agency access to the Alex Pretti crime scene? Was it Donald Trump? Was it Pam Bondi? Was it Kash Patel? Or was it Corey? Whose idea was it?
Congressman, I will tell you it is not my role as the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security to conduct investigations at the federal level.
I'm asking who was it that instructed your agents to deny access to the crime scene to state and local law enforcement agencies?
I wish there would have been more local law enforcement there that day. The reason that
they were there, but your agency prevented them from accessing the crime scene. Who was it that gave that order to deny access to the crime scene?
Sir, I don't make those decisions.
Well, who made the decision?
I will tell you that within the agency,
whose decision was it?
Within the agency, for incidences,
was
that there is investigations that go through the office.
Okay, well, you're not going to answer. You're not going to answer my question. That's fine, ma'am. I'm going to reclaim my time. As the Secretary of Homeland Security, you are the ultimate overseer of your department's investigations into the death of Renee Good and Alex Pretti. Isn't that correct?
We conduct investigations within ICE and CBP.
Okay, fine. You're responsible for it. That was my question.
To the officers to make sure they follow
within hours of these killings, you jumped before the cameras on national TV and lied about these victims, labeling them domestic terrorists, before the investigation had even begun. Even your own ICE director has now admitted that they are not terrorists, and that kind of comment could bias the investigation. Secretary Noem, will you acknowledge that your lies labeling Ms. Good and Mr. Pretti as domestic terrorists could bias the DHS investigation into their killings?
These investigations are ongoing. They're internal and external.
Couldn't your comments have signaled
the Incident Review Committee
what the conclusion of the investigation should be?
Any actions that will take it, and within CBP, it's the National Use of Force Board that does those evaluations.
What you did was actually prejudice the investigations that your department is conducting, Madam Secretary. And, you know, it's no mistake. Your department has a pattern of obstructing investigations. A federal judge has lambasted your ICE director for lying in court. And you, the Inspector General, just yesterday revealed to the public, your own Inspector General, who was appointed by Trump, has revealed that your department has been obstructing his independent investigations into your department and into your department's ability to investigate others.
That is not true. In that letter that he sent to the Hill yesterday,
I want to enter into the record for unanimous consent 2 articles that document the fact that the Inspector General says that DHS has systematically obstructed its work. It's a Wall Street Journal article dated March 3rd, yesterday.
Without objection.
And also a Politico article, internal DHS watchdog, Noem, is obstructing our work.
Without objection.
How can the public think that you will give...
Gentleman's time has expired. You've asked for 2 unanimous consent requests. Without objection, those are into the record. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Fitzgerald.
Secretary Noem, thanks for being here today.
What unfolded in this hearing was not just a heated exchange between a member of Congress and a cabinet official. It was a revealing moment about power, accountability, and what happens when the federal government is confronted with tough questions about the use of deadly force. Representative Hank Johnson did something that is essential in a functioning democracy. He demanded answers. The deaths of Renee and Alex Pretti are not just political talking points. These are real. People whose lives ended during a federal law enforcement operation, and their families deserve to know exactly what happened. When government agents are involved in a fatal shooting, the public has a right to expect a transparent investigation. That means evidence must be preserved, investigators must be allowed access, and officials must answer questions honestly. But Johnson laid out a disturbing series of events. According to Minnesota officials, federal agents blocked state and local investigators from accessing the crime scene after Alex Pretti was killed. Even after a judge authorized investigators to enter the scene with a warrant, they were allegedly prevented from doing their jobs. That is an extraordinary claim, and it raises immediate concerns about whether evidence was being tightly controlled by the very agency whose agents were involved in the shooting. Johnson's questions were straightforward. Who gave the order to block local investigators? Was it someone inside the Department of Homeland Security? Was it pressure from political leadership? In any other situation, identifying who made a critical decision like that would be basic accountability. But as viewers saw, the answers never came. Secretary Kristi Noem repeatedly avoided the question, saying she does not personally conduct investigations and suggesting the decisions were made somewhere else within the agency. But that explanation doesn't satisfy the core issue. As the head of the Department of Homeland Security, she oversees the agencies involved. Leadership carries responsibility. When something goes wrong inside a department, the person at the top cannot simply say they were not involved. That is why Johnson's frustration was so visible. At one point, he bluntly said what many viewers were thinking: "You're not going to answer." And that moment captured the larger tension playing out in Washington right now. Democrats in Congress are trying to force transparency in situations where federal agencies appear to be closing ranks.